Darnell Smith from Fox Sports. You really are putting in the work. You're one of those people who are on the ground level working. You're doing podcasts. You're interviewing other people. You're helping people. So I am just very grateful to have you on once again. So thank you.
Yes, sir, Max, man. Hey, it's a pleasure and honor to be back on your podcast, man. It's been too long, man. How you doing? You looking good? Got the glasses on, the hair slicked back. I love it.
So yeah, this is one thing I'm doing. I'm glad you noticed. So I can't grow a beard as hard as I try. I can't. I don't know why. Man. I'm jealous. I know you got it. I don't. So I have to grow the hair.
I barely got it, man. This is all I got. Like
I'm growing the hair out. I'm slicking it back. The glasses add a little bit of another element to it. So if I'm on TV, you have to look the part. And I feel like that'll I'll be like the Pat Riley of TV. Ooh. That's the goal. That's the goal. Nick Wright almost has me a little bit because he grew out his hair, but he doesn't have the glasses.
The glasses do put it over the top. It gives you a couple extra more cool points, man. Pat Riley's one of the cleanest, former coaches, execs in the NBA history. So that's a good comp.
It's crazy. He'll be on the sideline if you watch a lot of like the games, like the Hardwood Classics, and he's like yelling and screaming. His hair is still perfect.
Like, it doesn't move. I don't know how it works, man. That's funny.
But no, really, I do appreciate it. So thank you. You're one of those people where like you inspire me to be better. Like there's certain people like David Goggins. I don't know if you've heard of him or you follow him. Yes. So he's one, and I have a really interesting story about him too, but he's one like a Joe Rogan, yourself, Rashad Phillips, or Rob Parker, like Chris, like there's just certain people I look to where even if it's just shooting a quick text message, hey, hope everything is good. It's a quick phone call. It's seeing your work. And it's like, okay, I got to be better, because once you surround yourself with those type of positive people and you see them just not taking days off and they're putting in the work, it just motivates me to be better. It reminds me of what I'm doing. And so like, I just try to constantly surround myself with people like that. Like Ryan Hollins does that for me. B Wood, he's always sending me stuff. So just having those type of people, I feel like it doesn't make it hard. It makes it fun because you just want to be a part of what everyone else is doing when it comes to putting in work.
Man, I mean, that means a lot, Max. Seriously, man. I really do appreciate that. As you know, I'm still, early within my career. So to even have any sort of I guess inspirational juice, so to speak, in me and be able to, be someone who you look to for motivation, definitely means a lot. I mean, same with you, man. Like I said, I told you before we even really hopped on, you're always hustling. I see you covering games, podcasts, being active on social media. And, sometimes when there's days where I don't feel like grinding, it's like, man, my man Max is getting to it. Let me go ahead and wake up and stop being lazy and like, let's put some work in. So the feeling is definitely mutual, man. In this media space, you gotta constantly just be working and growing. So
I appreciate that. It's Joe Rogan said this one time. I was watching his show, and it's like a meter, and it's not something you could see, but there's like a meter that people have, and like when you feel motivated, like there's certain days at the gym that I feel like, wow, I got an extra kick, like I'm motivated. Like it's just there's a meter, you can't see it, but when you like I've noticed when I'm able to surround myself or just be involved with people that are contagious like that positive energy, my meter goes up. So it forces me to up my game. And so I constantly try to get my meter up. I don't know. I have Serena Williams in the back. And the reason why I bring her up is I don't know if you watched Coach Carter. Not Coach Carter. Yeah. I'm so sorry. King Richard.
King Richard. Yes. Amazing film. I loved it. Yes.
It's amazing, right? So I tell people to watch King Richard, and some people absolutely love it the way I do, like such as yourself. And there's other people like, yeah, it was a good movie. I'm like, And so I talked to one of my friends, right? And he's creating this app, and I won't spoil what he's doing, but he's one of those really ambitious people too. And he was like, you want to know what it is, Max? I'm like, what? And he was like, people who can relate to that think it's an amazing movie. And he's like, the people that think it's a good movie, or maybe because they're not dream chasing. He was like, you're dream chasing right now. So when you watch that movie, not that you're in Compton, but you're able to understand what it's like to be rejected and keep going, what it's like to have a goal that you believe in that other people think you're crazy. And I'm like, that's exactly what it is. So you're a dream chaser. And so immediately you're like, that movie is incredible. And so like that movie for me, man, it was like the fact that he was able to keep getting like denied, but he was like, you know what, you're making a mistake, but I'm gonna let you. And he kept it, always turning it into a positive. So I feel like right now, even though you're incredibly successful as is, my point in all this is like there's a goal that we're all trying to reach. And so when you're able to surround yourself with people trying to reach that goal, it's like it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Man, my boy Max, you can always count on Max to go deep on the podcast. That's why I like getting on there. But you're right. It really comes down to, in my opinion, the power of the mind. And when you
Yeah.
put yourself around a group of people who all have similar goals, even if it's not even in the same field, but there's just someone who's dream chasing, as you said, and someone who's very just, motivated to accomplish their goals. Naturally, mentally, it makes you believe in you almost more. It's crazy how
Yep.
that works, but yeah, that mind is a powerful thing, man. It's so cliche to say it, but I promise you, man, it's like once you really lock in and truly believe in yourself. People say it all the time, but it's always kind of tongue in cheek. When you truly believe in yourself and you're putting in the actions behind it to follow those beliefs, nothing can really stop you, man. And it's a true thing. And I think if people can really tap into that, it can change lives, seriously. So
Yeah, and it's like we're in the era of information. Like we have podcasts, we have Google, like we have social media. You can literally find the people that have made it that are successful telling you what their thought process was. And so I'm like,
yeah,
I can listen to Colin Cowherd every single day, right? And so even though I met him a long time ago, I am now able to learn from someone who's at the top of his field without having to go through certain things because I learned through him what not to do, what things worked for him. Now, everyone has a
yeah,
different path, but it's like I would be an idiot to not listen to and pick things from all these successful people, and they all share a very similar thing. It's just having belief in yourself. And it's so easy to say that once you're at the top, like, I believe in myself, but be actually believing it when you're not there, because that's how
yeah.
you do get there. So, like I said, I really do see that in you a lot. So that's my transition to you.
Ooh,
You have a lot going on for yourself. You're shooting so many different podcasts, so many different, just always putting some great material out there. So can you just take a moment? I want to give you your flowers. What have you been working on? What are some shows that you've been doing, some podcasts, and kind of give the world an intro to what you've been doing?
yes, man, for sure. So it's really about three things that I'm actively grinding on right now. So the number one is the digital series called Players Day Off. I've been working directly with this startup business called the Players Company, which in a quick nutshell, the Players Company is going to be dope, man. So it's a powerful thing it's owned by players and their business is made for players. So it's in a quick nutshell, it's a digital banking as a service platform. So, it'll be live in here like mid to late February. And basically, imagine this app where, you have on one slide or one feed, you have your typical like banking features like you have on any other bank, right? But the cool
Right.
thing that makes this business different is it has this community feed where, let's say me and you are both on the app, and let's say, okay, I invested in, I don't know, Chipotle or whatever the case may be. If me and you were like following each other, just like social media, you can scroll and like it's all athletes. So you're scrolling, you're like, okay, I see Darnell and 32 others all invested in, Chipotle. This is something that I'm interested in investing in myself or getting into myself. Let me send Darnell a quick message to see why, what's the questions about it, what's the mindset behind going into it. So basically it's a way for all athletes of different sports, WNBA, NBA, NFL, whatever, to connect in one place and build wealth together. It's a great thing, man. I can't wait for it to launch. Where I come into play is I'm helping them out from a content and branding standpoint. The goal is to really, you want to promote the company, and obviously you have to build trust being a financial wealth business company, right? But we're promoting to a lot of college athletes as well. And one thing that college athletes enjoy is like they want to seem like, they're a part of something big, something that's cool. So I'm helping them from a content standpoint. And one of the first series that we're doing is called Players Day Off, which we shared a couple of the episodes via YouTube. You might have saw me interviewing Lil Wayne and Darren Waller. We went ahead and put a quick pause on that because we wanted to see what the market was saying in terms of like, does anyone want to actually pick this thing up? And I'm not going to give the details yet, but we have been blessed with the platform to actually pick the series up. So you will see Players Day Off here soon on an actual platform. We're figuring out all the paperwork and stuff now. So super excited to be, part of that and have my first, show or series actually get picked up. Beyond that, About the Game podcast with TJ Hushmanzada, Orlando Scandrick, my girl Lauren Sesselman. So on that show, I'm more so in a producer role. So I put together the segments, put together questions, notes, things like that to help the talent out for the actual podcast. I'm actually on the podcast as well for certain segments, certain shows. But my role there is mostly behind the scenes. But About the Game podcast is exactly what it says, about the game of football mostly. But sometimes we'll have a basketball guy on, like Gilbert Arenas. We'll have, an actor on or someone in the movie industry. And it's just a cool, it's a fun podcast to do. We shoot it every single week. And if you know Orlando, you know TJ, these are two of the like realest guys in sports. So you might not agree with everything they say, but they're going to give it to you real every single time. So if you haven't downloaded and subscribed to About the Game podcast, definitely do that. And then last thing here, the Porch Podcast. That's my own podcast with myself, my former teammate, and one of my close friends, Brian Jones, a.k.a. Bolo. And it's basically a concept of a group of people basically sitting around a porch, having a drink, talking about sports, culture, entertainment, and having a really unique, organic conversation. So we're in season 2 with that. Just partnered up with the Believe platform. So the Porch is actually on Believe Network, and we're grinding with that every single week as well. So I'm grinding, Max, and it's been fun. It's a lot of work, but I love it.
You just, man, that's so exciting. You have so many different things. Now, that first thing that you were talking about, that sounds like that's what social media should be, is what you guys are doing. It's like being able to help others and utilizing your resources to connect. Because social media originally, like, obviously you think of you go back to MySpace, whatnot, but Facebook is like, you want to connect with people. But through what you guys are doing, is being able to connect with people and pick your brain on why you're investing in those things. Like, that's such a positive spin on what it should be. Like, instead of tearing people down, let me learn, why are you benefiting from this? Why did you invest in that? That's such a good idea. And the fact that you guys are able to bring it to life, it's a no-brainer, especially with now with athletes being able at the college level, being able to brand themselves, market themselves, and now athletes kind of understanding business outside of their profession. I think is so important. That's so important now more than ever.
It is, man. And the crazy thing is, like, you'll see like MLB players, and you'll have a small sector of them who like do business together. You'll see NBA guys doing things together, but it's hard to really see a lot of these sports coming together. Yeah. So the Players Company platform is basically, it's like an all-in-one shop, all-in-one like stop for all things athletes. So like the app will actually bring in opportunities like in real estate, investment, VC, educational seminars. So it just depends on what level you are. If you're a college athlete and you don't know anything about investing and you're not even in that position to invest yet, totally fine. You'll have your feed will look different than like a 8-year NBA veteran feed, right? So if I'm a college person, then I'll see educational opportunities about various, financial sectors and things like that at a very basic level, because the goal is to really take someone at their foundation piece, teach them how to save their first dollar, teach them how to invest their first dollar, and kind of go on this journey with the athlete all the way throughout until, regular life, regular world, and they really understand how to control and work with their own money. And it's not to say you can't have a financial advisor. That's totally fine. But the problem is too many athletes just hire people and they have no knowledge of their money. They don't know what's going on. And it's like, not all of these financial advisors are there to do right, if we're being honest. So it's good. It's beneficial for you to know how to handle your own. And this thing's going to be powerful, man. I can't wait to it finally launches in February. So the world can like actually see it and these athletes can really benefit. So
that's game changing. Like that has game changing written all over it. Like, I don't know. There's just certain ideas that I hear and it's just like, that's it. Like that works. That there's a need and you filled it. And I feel like there's a huge need for that. And what you guys are doing, that's incredible. So I'm glad we were able to I wanted to give you that opportunity because I knew you have so much going on. There's so many different shows. Like we talked about grinding and hustling earlier in the podcast. So, I'm subscribing, I'm supporting, and then live for today. Come on, man. Like there's so many things you got going.
Get your merch, lftclothingbrand.com. Yes, sir.
And the grind does not stop. Darnell, now that I got you, let me ask you a couple NBA questions. I got your time. So I want to transition into the NBA. I covered the Orlando Magic, so I see a lot of things. Like I love seeing things firsthand because players, like not players, consumers, people watching the game, when you watch it, it's like, man, they're pretty talented. But there's something about seeing it in person and like watching them warm up. I can't get enough of the warm ups. It's like these guys are so good. Like these are the best players in the world. Like I remember walking past Deladova, and I was like, this dude's huge. But like on TV, he's like, oh, he's a liability. You don't want him to switch out in the post and to pick and roll. But it's like, no, in person, he's huge. It just gives you a greater appreciation of how good these athletes really are. So when I'm there in person, I'm watching these things. The first thing I want to get into is Steph Curry. So I had the opportunity. I spoke to Clay. I spoke to Draymond. I would have spoken to Steph, but I ended up walking away for a second because I didn't think he was coming out. This was like pre-pandemic, right? And I was like, man, I missed the opportunity to interview Steph. So I'll never forget that. But my point is, he's greater than life. There's like 3 athletes I've seen covering these games that I'm like, wow, like, okay, they're needle movers. LeBron, like everyone's going to go just to see him run past the tunnel. Like everyone, there's a different feel in the arena when he's in there. Yep. Steph, and I wanted, like, Kevin Durant had that feel. But at the time, it was a little bit of a different feel. It's like that's when him and the media or him and the people had a little bit of friction. So it wasn't like oh my God, I can't wait to see him. It just felt like there was a different type of energy, but everyone couldn't wait. Everyone gravitated him regardless. So my point with Steph is this. So when he's bigger than life. So everything he does, anything those 3 athletes do is under a microscope. So I get that. They have a different audience than pretty much everyone else.
Yeah.
But I felt like we never appreciated what he does. And I called him Iron Man when I did my Marvel analogies because he makes it look easy. He makes it look fun. And it's like, man, he's just having fun out there. And all these people are trying so hard. He makes it look so effortless sometimes, like a Patrick Mahomes does. Right. But he's on the verge of breaking Ray Allen's record, right? And the reason why I bring all this up is because of this. He's going to break that record. That's not the question. The question is when, is what game is it, right? So like that's the question. But people expect him to go out there and make like 10 threes. And so when he didn't hit the 10 threes, like, see, he doesn't live up to the big moments. When everyone's looking at him, he doesn't live up to the big moment. And I said, okay, so I took a step back. I'm like, I understand he's under a different microscope than everyone else. But Darnell, how many people can hit 10 threes? That like not that many in history of the game combined. So why? So when he doesn't even just hit 10 threes, it seems he doesn't live up to the big moment. It's like he's going to break the record. That's what we all want. But why do we put that? Like he doesn't live up. Maybe he just didn't hit 10 threes. That doesn't mean he's not living up to the moment. It is incredibly hard to hit 10 threes. And on top of that, the other team is they're not living in la la land. They understand this guy's about to break the record. We all know he's going to try to break the record. Let's run him off the line. Like, I just don't understand the scrutiny that he goes under. Like, this is supposed to be a let's celebrate his greatness moment. And instead, we've somehow turned it, we as in the media, have somehow turned it into he doesn't live up to the moment. Do you view it that way? Or do you see like, okay, maybe he should have hit those threes? Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy at all. So there's two things. One, I do think there's been moments in his career where he has not lived up fully to the moment. There's just certain playoff games. I feel like every year in the playoffs, there seems to be like 1 or 2 games, like a little small stretch where Steph, like, he just isn't Steph. Like, he may still have 25 points or something, but it's like, he made 2 threes this game, was 2 for 15. It just wasn't normal Steph, right? And he set that bar so high for himself, which is great for him. It shows his greatness. But as a fan or as the media, when you raise that bar, expectations change. So a part of me is like, okay, I understand that. But the other half is like, I don't think this particular situation falls into that bubble. I don't think him not making 10 threes in a game says he's not ready for the moment. Like you say, he maybe just didn't make 10 threes. Like, that's not something you just wake up and just do every single day. Like, if I, off the top of my head, there's like a small group of people who could probably even do it. Him, I would throw Ray Allen in there. His teammate Clay, obviously. I don't know. Maybe Reggie Miller, maybe Dame on a hot day, but like, maybe. So like, I can't criticize this man for not making 10 threes. Like, what are we doing here? He's been balling overall this season. He's had somewhat of a cold stretch, but hey, it's an NBA season. Every player has a little bit of a cold stretch here and there. So yeah, I think the media, I know we're in the media, but other media members are probably going a little too hard on him for not making 10-3. I don't think that's that shouldn't be a knock against him. He's going to break the record, like you said. So,
Right. Do you think that and to your point, you're 100% right. There definitely has been moments because he has set the standard so high for his performance. So when you don't, it's like, okay, especially in a big moment, that like that's what made Derek Jeter so great was not that he
right.
always elevated himself, but you knew in those big moments he's going to at least stay to where he's at. Like he's going to be consistently great. Um, do you feel like the media in general? I know NFL, the regular season is more important week to week, so those games do have more. They have more of an impact. There's more weight to it. But do you feel like there's a? I'm not a necessarily. I'm trying to not put a negative connotation on it, but it's almost grown tiresome or old to be so overreact to every single game now. I feel like people have kind of learned to just take a step back. Like I don't know. I just feel like every game. It's like if you watched the Lakers, for example, and if you were to be a prisoner of the moment every single game, you're going to drive yourself insane. You're going to be on a roller coaster that never ends. Like they're against the Boston Celtics, and we'll get into them. They look fantastic, but then they lose to like the Memphis, and they look terrible. Do you
Right.
just feel like there's a need for, and I say us new media members because we're in the media, to just take a step back and maybe let things breathe a little bit more? Because I feel like we're so reactionary to every game, and granted, that's a lot of our professions, but I just feel like we could be reactionary, but still take things in the grand scheme of like context.
Yeah, 100%, man. Because like we do this thing with LeBron. Use LeBron as the example. Like every single year, it seems like regardless of what team he's on, if he or his team has somewhat of a bad stretch or a weird stretch, it's like, is this the end of LeBron? Can he do it? Can he lead the team to success? And then
Right.
everyone's knocking them, going against them. Hell, I've even caught myself being on that train and saying it's over. And then the end of the season comes and he may not win it all, but he's damn sure in the mix. So it's like, yeah, we got to pump the brakes. Like, I get it. We're in the media. A lot of these shows come on every single day. You need something to talk about. So
Right,
you're
right.
going to talk about what's going on. Of course, we get it. But like you said, there's a method where you can talk about what's going on now, but still have a deeper understanding, a bigger picture understanding of what's really going on, especially in the NBA. Like you said, there's 82 games in the season. These guys, sometimes they come out, let's be real, they may not have it today. Maybe they don't feel like, maybe they went out last night or ate the wrong thing, or it's a back-to-back and their legs are shot. And we got to put other things into the equation. Like now football, you said, it's a little different because shoot, it's only 17 games
Right.
now, but each week matters. So it's like, man, like, all right, you can't have too many of those bad weeks because then you won't be in the playoffs and et cetera. So I get it, but you're 100% right. Like us in the media, we gotta do a better job of like talking about the now, but understanding the bigger picture that that's really going on.
Right, absolutely. Now, while we're talking about Steph and the Warriors, they have a legitimate opportunity to win the whole thing. They do. I'm not saying they
Yep.
are. I have a bet with Brendan Haywood, and I said I still believe a healthy LeBron and a healthy AD. And I said I'm going to do it now while their stock is really low. So I either look like a really smart guy or I look like an idiot making this bet, but I'm willing to take that risk. And I said if the Lakers win, I'm going to wear. He has to wear a LeBron James jersey. If the Warriors win, I have to wear a Steph Curry jersey. So we made that bet. So I understand the stock is really low on the Lakers right now, but we'll focus on the Warriors. They have a realistic opportunity to win the whole thing, and I completely get it. He's a smart man for making that bet. If let's just say in a hypothetical world, Darnell, they win the championship. That means Steph has 4 rings now, right? Which ties
Yeah.
LeBron. And that means he is an opportunity. I believe he's the favorite. What, Kevin Durant's like right behind him and Jokic for MVP. He
Yep.
already has what, 2 MVPs, 3
Yep.
MVP, I think 2.
Two.
So he'll have 4 rings, like in a perfect world for him, and 3 MVPs, which are both realistic things to happen. I don't think he's this generation's icon. Like when I saw a post about him and LeBron, I still think it's like a Jordan, Kobe, LeBron thing. I don't think Steph catapults above LeBron. But where do we start to like rank him amongst those all time? Like he's top 10 all time, right? I know it seems like an obvious question, but I think a lot of people push back on the thought of him being in a top 10 all time. But with 4 rings, 3 MVPs, greatest shooter of all time, one of the greatest regular seasons of all time, well, the greatest regular season of all time, 73-9. Would you put him in that category where he even may challenge Magic?
100%. Like right now on my list, I have him as the number 2 point guard, greatest point guard of all time. I think it's Magic, him, Isaiah Thomas isn't a close third, only
Right.
because he's such a little guy playing for those bad boy pitchers, got 2 rings going against Jordan. So like I got a lot of respect for Isaiah, but I think you can't disregard what Steph has done to the game. He's literally changed the way the game of basketball, period, at any level is being played. You got little league kids trying to shoot from 30. So like you got to respect that. And not only has he changed the game, he's also had tremendous success. He's been on arguably the greatest team of all time. He's seemed like he's doing it again. Like it's crazy. And you know, for some reason he doesn't get his respect. He doesn't get his just due. And I think it's because, man, he's hard to rank. He's hard to judge because as great as he is, it's like, has Steph ever been the best player in the league, like hands down? Even when he won the MVPs, would you say he was the best player in the league? No, it was LeBron. And then when LeBron has a shaky year, okay, it's KD. Or, okay, maybe it's Giannis. We never really say Steph, and it's not really his fault, but he's 6'2", 6'3", and it's like, as great as he is, he could never be at that level as a LeBron. He could never be on that level as a KD. Maybe on any given night, sure, of course. But there's certain limitations that Steph has that he just, it's not his fault. It's just his size, he just can't do it. So I think when people look at it that way, that's why it makes it difficult for them to really rank. Even myself, it's like, man, I'm looking back and thinking about what you're saying. Like, if he wins this year, 4th ring, 3rd MVP, yeah, he has to be top 10. I mean, he should be in the question for top 7, maybe top 6, but it's just hard to put him, like who are you putting him in front of? You know what I'm saying? That's the conversation, you know, that you're having. It's tough.
And it's true because you look at the top 10, like we don't have to go through the whole list, but everyone in that top 10 at one point in time was considered the best player in the world. A Bird, a Magic, a Jordan, a Bron, a Kobe, a Bill, a Wilt, like a Kareem. So if you put Steph in there, like to your point, where he's technically, you could argue he never had a point where he's the best player in the world. That's probably why he doesn't get the respect. I think you just nailed it.
Crazy, man.
I never thought about that.
It's not really his fault though either. It's the era he played in. He played with LeBron. He played with KD. He played with Kobe. You know, like he played with so many greats. It's like, damn, like I just only so much I can do. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
Right. I want to transition while I got you, Darnell. Again, I appreciate you coming on the show. Is the Los Angeles Lakers, right? It's only right we talk about the Lakers. So I already told you the bet I have will be Wood. LeBron, I said, has that Bluetooth quality. That's why I was so high on the Lakers. Is not only, you know, I'm a LeBron guy, but I even admit right now I think Giannis is probably the best player in the world. But LeBron's Bluetooth quality, he's able to connect with anybody he plays with. And so I wasn't really worried about who comes in because I know what he's able to deliver for them. But what did concern me is health. It's always been the biggest concern with an older roster, and especially AD. I want to specifically ask you about AD. You're an athlete.
Yeah.
You've played at an extremely high level. And I know people forget these are people too. So there may be things going on that we don't see. Maybe he's playing through an injury. Maybe there's something going on in his life. But if you watch these games versus looking at the stat sheet are two different things. If you look at the stat sheet when he had like 18 and 17, like, oh, that's pretty good. That's LeBron and Westbrook had a good game. So I understand maybe he had 18 that game. But if you watched that game, you're like, no, something's not right. Like, I don't know what, I can't put my thumb on it. But like, something's not right. Like, he's not being aggressive. At what point in time we were like, oh, he's a top 5 player in the world. And now I can make the debate he's not a top 10. Like, I could make a solid debate about that. Where is the dip? Like, I understand everyone has different peaks. Everyone has different primes. But 27 years old has been pretty unanimously like, you're supposed to be in your prime at 27, or at least pretty damn good at 27.
Right.
So what is going on? Like, what would you put your thumb on it? Like, what seems to be off with him? Is it confidence? Is it being out of shape? A lot of people say, like my friend Combo, he was like, he's just not a good off-season person. But I just find that so hard, Darnell. Like, for one, the expectations are championship. 2, LeBron's in his ear. 3, you know the criticism you're under the previous season. Like, Charles Barkley, and rightly so, calls you street clothes Anthony Davis. Like, you know what people think of you. Like, I thought that would be enough for him to be like, okay, I got you. I'm going to turn it up this season. And it just doesn't seem like he is.
Yeah, man. AD it's weird, man. And you hit the nail on the head. Like, from a skill set standpoint, he's top 5 in the league for sure. But from what we get on the court is like, nah, I can't say that. And to me, I think it's the aggression. Like, he does not play aggressive. He's 6'11", almost 7 foot, but he doesn't like to bang. And like, I like AD. I'm not trying to diss him as a person, nothing like that. He just doesn't like to bang in the paint. And to be that big, that skilled, if he just changes mindset and say, you know what, I'm gonna be aggressive all night. They can't stop me. I'm quicker than the big man. I'm strong enough to bang with them. I can face him. I can back. Like, if he goes with that mindset, it's like he'll be unstoppable. So maybe it is confidence, Mac. I never thought about it that way. You know, you see these NBA guys, and they're all so talented that you just assume they all have a tremendous level of confidence. But maybe we believe and expect more out of him than he does himself. And that maybe that falls on us as the media members to do that. But I don't know. He just doesn't seem the same as he did even when he was back with the Hornets. Like, when he was like the guy and he's on a bad team, his numbers were crazy. Like, he was just
crazy.
40 and 15 and 7. And I'm like, man, AD's a dog. And then he came with LeBron, and obviously we won a ring during the pandemic, and his stats look good. Don't get me wrong. It's not the same, though.
No.
It's not the same. And what's killing him this season is he would always fall back to like that mid-range, right? And it would, in previous years, he was still pretty good at it. So I was like, all right, even though I wasn't a huge fan of him shooting as much, he was pretty damn good. So I was like, all right, cool. But this year, he's not that good at the mid-range. I don't have the percentage here pulled up, but just watching the games, he's missing a lot of his mid-range shots. So it's like, you're not being aggressive. You're not knocking down the mid-range. You're still getting hurt. Like, what's going on? And I don't. That's the question of the year. What is going on with Anthony Davis? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like he was a Lamborghini, and now it's like he's a Corvette. It's like, he's still a good car, like he's still fast, but like, yeah, you think about the Pelicans, like, yeah, hey, that you don't want to get on the track with that guy, like that. He's gonna blow you out. He's nasty. Like, he's going to bang. I just wish he had like Julius Randle's mentality, like that dog. Like, I'm gonna go at you. I'm gonna put my shoulder in your chest, and like you said, no one's gonna stop him. My last thing for you here. Zion Williamson. And now I try not to be that guy who micromanages how he looks in a jumpsuit and a sweatsuit. Like, I just find that weird. Like, I just don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, just as I don't want to judge how someone looks in clothes, but I get the people that are, and it sucks because when you have a talent where you watch them play, it's like, man, what used to bother me, Darnell, is like, oh, who does he play like? And it's like, oh, he's a little bit of this, a little bit of this. If you have to combine 3 or 4 people, you could just say no one's played like him before. Like, there's just no one's played like Darnell before. And I mean, and no one's played like Zion. So like, if you have this guy that we've never, if you have this guy that no one plays like, and it's just, you see that talent, and then it's like, he's just missing more games than he's playing. It feels a little Embiid-like at first. And it's just like, I understand now people micromanaging or microanalyzing how he looks, how he's walking, how much weight has he gained, because he's missing so much times. I can't even defend it anymore. And you look back at that draft, and my guy Shad said it on Colin Cowherd's show. He's like, I'm taking John #1 over Zion. And people are like, really? And he's like, he's the quarterback in today's game. Like, you need your quarterback. And so what are your thoughts on Zion? Is this something, typically the bigger you are, it normally doesn't get better over time? Right. So do you think this is going to be his story of his career as a talent we've never seen, and he just kept having nagging injuries over season? Or is it just maybe it was a bad luck, he had a bad injury, and then he's just going to knock it off, focus on his diet, and he'll get through this?
Man, I'm really wishing for the latter. I hope that it's just a bad luck situation. He's going through a tough time, and he will bounce back. But right now, it does not look good, Max. It's like we're having the same conversation year after year, and it sucks because Zion's such a great kid, such a great player. When he's on the court, I mean, the guy's a dog, dominant, physical, gets his numbers. He's a game changer. So we want to see him play so bad, but it's like, man, he just keeps having these nagging injuries. And, you know, I don't know, and none of us truly know for sure if he's getting if the injuries come from his weight. That's the assumption, you know what I'm saying? And it's a good assumption. We get it, we understand it. You know, you have things happen to you, you know, your joints, your knees, your ankle, whatever the case may be, your foot. Okay, weight can play a role in that. But like you said, it's so weird. Just looking at his pictures and evaluating how he looks. And I catch myself doing the same thing. It's like, man, he looks a little heavy right here. Is he really 330 pounds? Is he? Because, these rumors go out and you're like, dang, like, you don't want to believe it. And then you see a picture or a quick video. You're like, he does look a little heavy here. And it's one of those things where, like, man, I wonder who does Zion have in his corner? Who's like his go-to guy? Who's his people? Because if we hear all the talk about his weight, I know he for damn sure hears it. He hears it all the time. So it's like, okay, you have one issue, your weight. Control it. I know it's tough. Look, I'm a big guy myself. Look, I can't. It's hard for me to control my diet at times. So I'm not judging you, man. But you get paid a lot of money to do what you do, and you really have one flaw, one problem, and it's the weight. And I know he's down there in New Orleans, and I know they got some good food, and it can be tough, man. Leaving the game, going back home, and you get that whiff of that gumbo or that jambalaya, and you want to go grab you a bowl. But Zion, this is your career, baby. So you gotta figure it out. And I just hope he has the right people in his corner who's just helping him out, guiding him through that, helping him stay disciplined. Because he's a great player, man.
Right. And you hear the debate, like, who would you take one now? And I can't really dispute taking Ja one at this point. Ja's been in the playoffs. He's consistently great. He's there. He's delivering. He's controlling the game. But when Zion was playing, you're like, yeah, this is going to be the guy. Like, he's going to be the face. He may not, like, we talked about it on a podcast. We're like, he may not ever be the best player, but you could argue he'll be the next face of it. Like, you think of, like, a Luka may be more skilled, a Giannis right now, or like Trae Young may be more skilled, but Zion had the potential to be, and he still does have the potential. I'm not going to say he doesn't just yet to be the face of it. So I just wanted to get your take on that. And I haven't seen you play before, so I'm sure you are unguardable, though. You do have size, you got speed, so we'll have to get up now. What? Don't they have like a media game? Don't they do like a yearly media basketball run?
They used to. It's weird with the pandemic and stuff like that. So I'm not for sure if they still do it. But yeah, no, they definitely did have a media game. Maybe I can find my way to sneak in there and give these other media members some buckets. Chris Haynes, my guy. I'm gonna back him down give him a left hook like Kareem. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get in that.
Yeah, that's someone I've been wanting to pick his brain on. I love what he does. But no, I would play like a Grayson Allen at Duke. Grayson Allen at Duke. But I'm not tripping anyone, and I'm not bamming on anyone. I can slam it, but I'm a rim grazer. I'm not catching any bodies.
Okay. I would say I'm more of like a prime Draymond Green. I'm not saying he's not in his prime, but I'm like a Draymond Green. I do a little bit of everything. I'm gonna play great defense. I'm gonna be physical. I'm gonna inspire the team. Get about 4 or 5 assists, 8 to 10 points, 7 to 10. But I'm gonna do a little bit of everything. So. I'm just a winner. If I'm on your team, you have a higher percentage of winning.
You DTLT. That's what Coach Brink said, Vince's old coach. Do the little things. You do the little things.
Ooh, I like that. Say it again. He said say it again.
DTLT. Do the little things.
DTL. I might put that on a shirt. DTLT. I like that.
Do the little things. And that's every day. Do the little things. The little things in life. Tweak it a little bit and it enhances your day. But Darnell, where can people find you? Where can they subscribe? Where can they follow you? Where can they disagree with your sports takes? All the above.
Yes. You can disagree with me on IG or Twitter at Darnell_Smith95. That's Darnell with 2 L's _Smith95. Definitely, I love to debate and go back and forth with everybody. So feel free to hit me up. You can follow my podcast at About the Game Pod on IG and at the Porch Podcast _ on IG as well. Man, grinding right now, man. So definitely would love all the support from, your listeners, your fans. And yeah, man, let's get it.
I appreciate it. Like I said, soon I'll be out there. I know I've said that for a while, but I will be out there. Maybe it's a media game that will get me out there. We'll do something. But I really appreciate you coming on, Darnell. And I know we'll talk soon.
100%, man. Hey, the feeling is mutual. You keep on doing your thing. You inspire me, Max. And let's do it again. Number 4. Let's do it again.
Sir.
I love it.
We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.